You want the moon? Just say the word and I'll throw a lasso around it and pull it down.
Look at the stars. The great kings of the past look down on us from those stars. So whenever you feel alone, just remember that those kings will always be there to guide you.
I don't think it is very useful to speculate on what God might or might not be able to do. Rather, we should examine what he actually does with the universe we live in.
We are all explorers, driven to know what's over the horizon. The most profound discoveries are not necessarily beyond that next star. They're within us, woven into the threads that bind us.
Good morning. Happy Tuesday. Happy Mars Day. So grateful you're here with me. How is everyone doing? Let me know in the comments how you're feeling, how your week is starting off. Mars in Capricorn yesterday, kind of helping us push forward in whatever aspect of our life we're really working on. I was feeling that renewed motivation with Mars in Capricorn yesterday. I don't know about you, but today we have another planet moving into Capricorn, not moving forward into Capricorn, but actually moving backward into Capricorn. Mercury's retrograde takes it back into the sign of the sea goat. Yeah, felt it immediately yesterday. So did I. It was just like, okay, here we are. Let's go. Like, let's get ready to push forward on whatever career goals we're working on. I just was like in work mode yesterday. So glad to hear I'm not the only one. But yes, today Mercury moves back into Capricorn as well. So we're solidly in Aquarius season now. We're feeling that Aquarian energy all around us, kind of a global awareness, but we now have 4 planets in Capricorn, or I should clarify, as of 7 o'clock tonight, we will have 4 planets in Capricorn because that's when Mercury actually moves back into the sign of the goat. So even though we're in Aquarius season, that Capricorn energy is really hanging out, really sticking around, and we will feel that Capricorn serious workforce influence. Everything I tried to overprocess and thought, Cap was like, nope, do it now, or here's your solution. Yeah, totally. I feel that too. Something we didn't talk about yesterday is that Mars is exalted in Capricorn. So this is a place of awareness. But as much as Mars energy is very fiery, Mars rules the sign of Aries. It's the red planet. It's known for our action, our stamina, our drive. Mars in Capricorn does give it that grounded influence that helps us take solid action that will actually have a lasting impact. Season 2, yeah, I was in full work mode behind the scenes, cleaning everything up. Very much Mars in Capricorn, kind of helping us build that steady foundation over the next 6 weeks that we can grow off of and continue to build up on. But the next 6 weeks are all about those first steps, really gaining momentum. I think I keep using a train analogy. I don't really know why, but it's just like the spokes on the wheels of the train. I don't know. They're just kind of starting when a train is picking up speed. And it's like by the end of Capricorn season, I feel like we will be in full steam ahead, if you know what I mean. And Mars will be in Aquarius. So definitely helping us take our ideas or take what we've been working on to the next level, a higher level, envision the possibilities for whatever projects we're starting right now. So that's Mars in Capricorn. We talked all about that yesterday. If you want more, you can go watch that video. But now let's talk about Mercury moving back into Capricorn. We talked about this a few weeks ago because Mercury originally moved into Capricorn on, I think, in November. Don't quote me on that. I have to look at a calendar. Hold on. So Mercury has been in Capricorn recently. Yes, November. No, nope. Mercury in Scorpio, Mercury in Sagittarius. That was November. So it was December 13th that Mercury moved into Capricorn. Of course, a couple weeks ago, Mercury moved into Aquarius, but then we had Mercury retrograde begin. So now we're backtracking. And if you are a Capricorn or a Capricorn rising, let me just tell you, you have dealt with the brunt of these retrogrades, really activating your first house, activating your sense of identity. You might have experienced a transformation of self, or you might be going through it if you have major Capricorn placements. Because, like I said, now we're going to have 4 planets transiting through Capricorn, 2 of them retrograde, Venus and Mercury. And retrogrades are that time to review, revise. You know, they can be a time of transformation if you really lean into them. So if you're a Capricorn, you're probably feeling this also. If you are a Virgo rising, a Gemini rising, or have major Virgo Gemini placements, Mercury retrograde is probably something that you feel more strongly than maybe the rest of the zodiac. So just keep that in mind. But let's talk about really quickly, we won't dive as deep as we did the first time Mercury moved into Capricorn, but I do want to talk about this energy. So ignore the dates here as I pull this up, because this is from the first time we just talked about. But Mercury was in Capricorn until January 1st, and that's when it moved into Aquarius. Of course, we already just went over that. So here we are. Mercury in Capricorn, the planet of communication and the most serious, practical sign of the zodiac. So let's just kind of do a quick review for those of you who are, a little newer to astrology. Mercury is the messenger planet. It rules our thoughts, our words, our communication, our rational mind, our intellect, our ideas, even our curiosity and technology. So during Mercury retrograde, that's why we have communication issues, miscommunication. Sometimes our thoughts don't translate into words as easily as we'd like them to, and sometimes they don't land how we intended them to. And then, we also have technology issues. Also, Mercury rules our short-term travels. So any travel plans over the next 2 weeks or so, be sure to cross your T's, dot your I's, review all those plans. And with Mercury and Capricorn, reviewing long-term plans isn't a bad idea either, because Capricorn is all about long-term commitments. So really looking over those long-term goals, plans, ideas that maybe have just been kind of ruminating and sitting, this could be a time to go back and revisit them and see if they actually have the potential to bring you to success. Now, Mercury in Capricorn, Capricorn's energy, and this is worth talking about just because it's not just Mercury in Capricorn, right? Again, we have, as of 7 p.m. Pacific time, Mercury, Venus, Pluto, and what am I missing? What's the 4th planet in Capricorn right now? I guess I could just look at our chart. We have Mars, of course. We just talked about it. Mars just moved into Capricorn. So Capricorn, the sign of the sea goat, all about goals, structure, long-term responsibility, patience, wealth, karma, very masculine energy. You can think of Capricorn as the father of the zodiac. So kind of that protector, but also the rule enforcer, the limiter, ruled by Saturn. So really reminds us of time passing, very slow moving energy, but also of our limits and our potential. Capricorn likes to play it safe. It likes to know that it has a solid footing before taking that next step. So with all of these planets in Capricorn, it's really that slow, steady, practical energy that we're moving through over the next couple of weeks. And this Capricorn energy with all these planets will be sticking around for quite a bit. It'll be sticking around for a while. Let's see. Okay, Mercury is already in Capricorn. Maybe it was 7 a.m. This is just realness, you guys. Let me double check. Oh, Here we go. This is just my real life. Okay. Oh no, 7 p.m., but it's already showing up on our chart right now. So let me just pull up the chart and I will show you what we're working with. So yes, Mercury in Capricorn. You can see on our chart here now, it's pretty apparent, all these planets in Capricorn. And we also have a lot of Aquarius action and a lot of Pisces action right now, but Capricorn is dominating the energetic story currently. And so, over the next couple weeks, while Mercury stays in Capricorn, it won't move back into Aquarius until Valentine's Day. So that's kind of fun, a fun date to look forward to. Mercury in Aquarius has big ideas, grand visions. We've kind of been feeling that energy a little bit during this Mercury retrograde, but it's not quite as much clarity because it's, a retrograde. So Mercury will be in Capricorn for the next 3 weeks or so. And while that's happening, we are asked to, again, during retrogrades, review, remember, revise. But as I mentioned, Capricorn energy makes us very aware of time and time passing. So take these next couple weeks with Mercury retrograde through the 3rd of February. Take this time to look back, reassess, really think about the past, and also at the same time, assess what you're working towards. We have this juxtaposition between going back into the past with Mercury retrograde in Capricorn, but also thinking about the future with Capricorn ruling our long-term plans as well. So this influence can also help us slow down a little bit. You might have heard other astrologers say retrogrades are a time to kind of pump the brakes, slow down, make sure you have all the information before you make judgments, before you make any moves. Mercury in Aquarius, in an air sign was a little more go, 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 flighty, big visions coming in, blah, blah, blah. Mercury in Capricorn helps us ground down, take slow, methodical action, or not even action, but more having slow thoughts, analytical thoughts. So, this is good during a retrograde. However, just be careful not to be too serious or too negative, because Capricorn energy can be a little bit more negative or worrisome. It can make us worry more or overanalyze a little bit more. So just be aware of that. You don't need to, during a retrograde, go over things over and over and over again in your head unless you're really working through something. Don't need to overanalyze necessarily, but it is nice to slow down and really think things through before you make judgments, form opinions, or speak your mind. It's good to think things through before you speak your mind. That is a lesson that myself, as a Mercury ruled person, has had to learn time and time again. Good morning, Danny. Thanks for being here. And same to you, Alex. Good to see you. All right, so that's the only major transit we're talking about today. And something I was thinking about as I was preparing for today's live stream is the fact that, I never really make this distinction, but I'll make it right now. So when we're talking about the major planets, planetary movements, planetary connections with one another, that's very much the external energy, the energy we're all kind of experiencing, maybe how we're being affected by other people. But that's more of an external general energy. When we're talking about the moon's transits, which I'm about to go into, definitely more of an internal application to what I'm saying. So it's really all about our internal emotional state, our moods. It can still affect how we relate to other people, right? Because our emotions very much play into our relationships. However, the moon's transits are much more introspective and gives us an opportunity to look at what's going on within us. So today we have the last quarter moon in Scorpio. You can see the moon, 7 degrees Scorpio as we speak. The last quarter moon is this pinnacle point of release. you can think of the moon as a cup being filled and emptied. You know, as we're working towards the full moon, it's like a cup full of light. It's just getting more and more light poured into it every night as we look up in the sky. Once the full moon is up there, it's like this full cup, this culmination, this abundance. But after the full moon, it starts to wane and a little bit of that cup gets emptied every night. So we are at the halfway point. Is the cup half full or half empty? Okay, this is the time to empty that cup or release maybe beliefs that the cup is half empty. You get what I'm saying. I'm going pretty far with this metaphor, but this is a pinnacle releasing point for the moon, and especially with this last quarter moon in Scorpio, one of the most deeply feeling signs, the sign of energetic connections, of secrecy, of mystery. This is a really powerful opportunity for catharsis, releasing, letting go of anything that's been really buried down deep that has started to surface as the moon moved into Scorpio last night, or maybe just something you've been holding on to for a really long time. I say this a lot of times in the Scorpio moon and in the last quarter moon, but a cord cutting meditation, especially under this last quarter moon in Scorpio, would be very powerful if you are feeling energetically tied or like you just can't let go, you can't move on from something. So really sit in introspection under this last quarter moon and ask yourself, where am I still tied? Where am I still holding myself back? This is also, you know, regarding beliefs. What limiting beliefs do you need to cut ties to? That could be a great question to ask yourself. But whatever you've been gripping so tightly, trying to control, maybe even trying to manipulate, this is the time to let go of it. The moon makes some pretty uncomfortable connections throughout the day today. Fair warning. So at 5 o'clock this morning, the moon squared off to the sun, which brings this conflict between our internal self, the moon, and our external self, the sun. This can make us more irritable, and the Aquarius sun really encourages us to express our truth, be our authentic self, put it out there. But the Scorpio moon is like, no. We like privacy, okay? Like, we need to keep a few secrets just for ourselves. We don't need to show everybody the true us. That could be used against us. That's very Scorpio thinking, right? All about trying to control. So you can see how these two energies are like, do I want to be private or do I want to be expressive? You might have woken up feeling that way a little bit, but we do have a silver lining here, getting a nice harmonious influence from Jupiter at the same time. So even if you weren't overly irritable or you woke up feeling all right, it's probably because of Jupiter's influence, a very fortunate 120-degree angle, the planet of optimism coming in, really lessening the blow of that square between the moon and the sun and helping us remember those silver linings, giving us a dose of optimism. And so even though we might have felt unsure or even just not fully in our energy this morning, Jupiter helped us, kind of pushed us out the door, gave us that little nudge, that little urge, like, hey, it's all going to be okay. At 2 o'clock Pacific time, the moon opposes Uranus. So this looks like changes, okay? The moon, again, in Scorpio, likes to keep things private, wants to have control. Uranus in Taurus is like, we are changing the story. We are changing it up. There's an opposition here. This opposition, too, can really illuminate not only the changes going on internally, but it can have us really focusing and aware of the changes happening all around us. I don't think there's anywhere in the world right now that's not in this state of flux because of the pandemic. You know, we're in another state of change right now, and nobody really knows what's going to happen. Uranus is the most rebellious planet as well. So, these are fixed energies. This could have us feeling like we want to rebel. We want to maybe cause a disruption. This could bring surprises as well. If you're not the disruptor, someone else might be. The Scorpio moon craves that control, but Uranus really makes it difficult to anticipate what's coming next. We really don't know what's going to happen when Uranus is in the mix. So just Be prepared to flow through any changes. Expect the unexpected as the moon opposes Uranus in this afternoon. Then by 4 p.m., this is the best transit of the day, I think. Other than that, trine to Jupiter, that was just kind of like a nice optimistic dose to start our morning. But the moon gets support from Venus. Now, mind you, Venus is still retrograde. This is at 4 p.m. Pacific time. So let me just fast forward a little bit so you can get a more accurate view on our chart here. Close enough. So here's that opposition between the moon and Uranus we were just talking about. You can see they're facing off with each other, our emotions and change, rebellion. It's all kind of, it's like a clash. It could be make or break though. This can help us kind of move into change more easily when the moon opposes Uranus, but it can also make us like, whoa, we weren't expecting that. And then just a couple hours later, we have this nice supportive angle between the Scorpio moon and Venus in Capricorn. You can see that nice 60-degree angle there. Now, normally a sextile between the moon and Venus is very supportive, very loving, all positive things. Venus is retrograde though, so this could bring up some feelings about the past. An ex could call, someone from your past that you loved could reappear, either romantic or platonic, maybe a family member. I would say the best way to use this energy is to remember a past version of yourself, okay? Even if you're kind of daydreaming or obsessing under the Scorpio moon over a past relationship, remember that it's not the other person that necessarily made you feel that way. Of course, other people's energy affects us, but it's the version of you that showed up to that relationship that allowed yourself to feel that way. So the moon in Scorpio is very seductive, very sultry. Venus in Capricorn, you know, Venus retrograde in Capricorn is not the sexiest energy, but when these two planets support each other in this sexy sextile, you could feel yourself a little bit like a past version of yourself, a past form of passion is coming through. So as I was saying, the best way to use this energy is to remember that version of yourself that felt sexy, that felt hot, and be that person tonight, okay? That could mean you are kind of, if you are dating, maybe somebody from your past is coming back. I'll let you be the judge of if that's a good idea. Retrogrades are not a great time to text your ex, but you never know if something was meant to be. Maybe it reappears in the present moment. But if you're already in a relationship, revisit that past version of yourself. Maybe recreate your first date or make one of the first meals you guys made together. You know, rekindle that inner spark when the moon forms a sextile to Venus retrograde. Venus retrograde has us reviewing and reflecting on our long-term commitments in relationships, in money. But this is a moment to remember that love, that sexiness inside of you. And that can help you make decisions or reflect or reassess the longevity of a relationship, right? If you can go back into the honeymoon phase for just a second. So 4 p.m. Pacific time, good time to feel yourself and remember that sexy, fun, passionate, passion is the key word here, that passionate version, former version of yourself. And then the very last transit we have is at 9 p.m. Pacific time. So some of you will probably be asleep if you live to the east of the West Coast. And that's probably a good thing because it's the moon squaring off to Saturn, one of the most depressing transits, to be honest with you. When the moon squares off to Saturn, it really puts a damper and a limiter on our emotional state. So be prepared for that. If you kind of feel a little down in the dumps, know that that will pass. This also has the potential to cause conflict in relationships. So if things got too heated or too passionate under that sextile between the moon and Venus, well, we could butt heads a little bit. Also, not just in romantic relationships, but I really see this specific square between the moon and Saturn could cause some issues between parents and children as well, because like we've been talking about, the Scorpio moon is all about that power and control. So, and then Saturn in Aquarius is a little bit more rebellious. So you could see maybe one person in a relationship trying to be more controlling and manipulative, while the other person is like, I want to be free. You can't control me. So that could be the moon square Saturn, or just on an internal level. It could feel like you're struggling to gain a sense of self-control. Maybe you're feeling a little bit more isolated or depressed under this transit. Again, just know that it will pass quickly. Okay, tons of you guys are blowing up the chat, which I love. Okay, you woke up in a great mood this morning. You can thank Jupiter for that. Do you believe mankind landed on the moon? You don't have to answer. I don't know. You know, I don't. Conspiracy theories are hard for me because, you know, I want to believe that we landed on the moon. And I do think we're capable of it. But I understand people's perspective about the light and everything. I'm going to give you a short answer. Yes, I believe we landed on the moon. But there is part of me that's skeptical. Oh, good. Feel like you just read exactly who I am on a daily. Capricorn Sun, Scorpio Moon. Ooh. I've got a Scorpio Moon too. I think we've talked about this. That's some intense energy, right? But also very motivated, very powerful. So good for you. Oh, thank you. Thank you. You're so sweet, Alex. I appreciate you saying that. Wish there was dating in this life. Hey, don't give up hope. Don't give up hope. I know we're in a weird situation right now. Wait for Venus retrograde to be over this Saturday. Just a few more days of Venus retrograde. It will have a little bit of a shadow period, but things should get easier in terms of love, especially in February. I think February is going to be a really beautiful, transformative month for a lot of people. Yes. Considering the version of yourself at that time. So often I think we give our power away to, you know, oh my gosh, we'll just say this fling I had in high school, he was this, he was that, he made me feel this way. No, you were just more optimistic. You were just more willing to be romantic and probably a little bit starry-eyed, you know, star-crossed lover. So, you know, it's not just about the other person. You gotta give yourself credit for what you brought to that passionate relationship that maybe you're remembering during this Venus retrograde. So yeah. And yeah, go to sleep early. If you're feeling sad or lonely tonight, just go to sleep, okay? It'll pass. It will really pass after the moon and Saturn pull away from each other. And, you know, as with everything under a Scorpio moon, there is intensity with all of our emotions under a Scorpio moon. Passions are high, emotions are deep. So just keep that in mind as well as a baseline. You know, it's an intense couple days for just watching with the Scorpio moon. I'm right there with you. I just had my lunar return right when the moon moved into Scorpio. And I'll share this because this is the beauty of working with astrology. I always am like, it's going to be my lunar return, yay. And then it happens. And with a Scorpio moon, I'm just like a total bitch out of nowhere. And last night I was working super late and, you know, right at 8 p.m. when the moon moved into Scorpio, I have a 0-degree moon, which that's a whole other story. Just adds a layer of intensity and emotional chaos to my life. But right at like 8:30, I was just super needy and trying to be like controlling of my partner a little bit. And I walked into the kitchen and I gave him a hug and he tried to pull away from the hug. And I was like, no, like, why do you need to pull away from my hug? Totally trying to control and manipulate. And then I looked at the clock and I was like, I'm sorry, I'm having my lunar return. I'm just super needy and emotional for no reason. Like, you're not even doing anything wrong, you know? And so luckily I have a partner as well who follows astrology and understands the benefits of it. And so he was like, it's all good. You know, he totally got it. But just an example of really how you can understand sometimes when you're closely tracking the transits, it's very validating. And also, I will say I was proud of myself because I was able to recognize in that moment, like, oh, this is why you're feeling more needy. There's a level of awareness, right? It's not just like, why am I feeling this way? It was like, okay, don't be crazy. Everything is fine. don't cause conflict for no reason. So there you go. That's my personal anecdote about lunar returns and why I love following the transits so closely. Okay, yeah, Bailey. So you probably felt that nice energy of Jupiter, that harmonious energy between Jupiter and the moon early this morning. So it sounds like everybody woke up for the most part in a good mood, which is, we love to see that. Also, 8 o'clock last night, not so nice shift. That's the Scorpio moon. Very intense and can definitely bring out our inner bitch. So if you're feeling a little sassier, I like to use the word passionate because passions can be a range, right? Scorpios tend to be very passionate about the things they love, but also very passionate about the things they hate. So yeah, you're right on track. And I secretly love all of this Capricorn because it's very real and honest. Absolutely. Very matter-of-fact energy, especially with Mercury retrograde in Capricorn. If there's anything you've been mulling over or reconsidering, Mercury retrograde in Capricorn is probably going to be like, why aren't you seeing this? It's so obvious, like, you know what you need to do. It's very practical. It's like that fatherly voice in our head. Like, come on, just do the thing. Just think practically. Let's be real here. And I feel a little more inspired to not fear seeing the things or changes I need to make to accomplish my goals. Absolutely. Capricorn energy, can make us a little bit more fearful or worrisome, as I talked about, but understanding that you don't have to fear, right? It's just your rational mind showing you what could go wrong. Not a bad thing, trying to protect us, but you don't have to listen to that voice all the time. So keep that in mind with Mercury retrograde in Capricorn. It kind of pumps the brakes on our ideas, but while Mercury is retrograde, it helps us review things under that more practical lens and assess whether things really can stand the test of time, whether those ideas we have can stand the test of time. Also, just makes us communicate more rationally, more practically. You know the drill. So let's do a quick overview of today's energy, and then we will pull a quick card as well. Today, Mercury, the planet of communication, continues its retrograde, moving back into the sign of the sign of the Capricorn. Let me start that over, you guys. This is Mercury retrograde. I'm telling you, I can't talk when Mercury is retrograde. Okay, today, Messenger Mercury moves back into the sign of Capricorn. And during Mercury's retrograde, we're asked to review, reflect, and revise. Capricorn energy helps us look to the past during this retrograde, but while we're reassessing, we're also keeping our long-term goals in mind and really assessing whether the ideas we're having, whether the thoughts and words we're saying can stand the test of time. We also have the last quarter moon in Scorpio today. The Scorpio moon really intensifies our emotions, but this last quarter moon is an opportunity for release and catharsis. Cut attachments to anything holding you back. This could also help you release limiting beliefs or really anything that you're energetically tied to that's not working out for your highest good. The moon makes some uncomfortable connections throughout the day, opposing Uranus this afternoon, which could bring some mood swings or changes, making us very aware of all of the transformation happening all around us. The moon gets support from Venus retrograde this afternoon. Use this energy to maybe slip back into a past seductive, passionate version of yourself. That can help you kind of rekindle a spark either internally or externally. And then late tonight, the moon squares off to Saturn, which could put a little damper on our mood. If you're feeling more lonely or isolated, don't cause conflict to create connection. Instead, let those emotions pass through and know that the moon moves very quickly and you won't be feeling them too long. All right, I got through it. Now let's pull a card. Also, just loving all of this interaction today, you guys. I live for this. I live for it. So I'm going to pull from the Universe Has Your Back deck, Dear Gabby, or Gabby Bernstein. anytime there's Scorpio energy, I always think of Gabby because she is a Scorpio and very much a Scorpio. I don't know if you've ever watched any of Gabby Bernstein's videos or masterclasses or TED Talks or anything like that, but she is a force of nature. She's very intense. And I believe I heard her say on a live call or something once that she has, I want to say, an Aries rising and a Sag moon or vice versa. So very fiery as well. But that Scorpio energy, very intense. Something else I will say too about the moon in Scorpio is we can get some psychic downloads or insights while the moon is in Scorpio. So be open to that as well. Pay attention to anything that comes through because we are really tapped into our subconscious mind and the depths of our emotions when the moon is in Scorpio. Okay. What do we need to know today? When I'm connected to my joyful presence, I attract support from the universe. I love this. This just screams to me that transit that we were talking about, the moon forming a sextile to Venus. Venus very much is about enjoyment and pleasure and passion. And the moon in Scorpio is about that pleasure and passion as well. So connecting to those things, connecting to joy, connecting to things that make you feel good can actually attract support from the universe. It's all about manifestation too, leaning into the energy of how you want to feel can help the universe support you because you're putting out that signal like, this is how I want to feel. It's the law of attraction. What you put out is what you receive. So connecting to joy, connecting to things that make you feel good, maybe things from your past that you haven't revisited in a while during this retrograde season, can actually help you get more of what you want from the universe. And yes, I can repeat the card again. When I'm connected to my joyful presence, I attract support from the universe. When I'm connected to my joyful presence, I attract support from the universe. That is our mantra today. One more time. When I'm connected to my joyful presence, I attract support from the universe. Connect to that joy today. Yes, Alex, I do too. All right, everybody, that's going to do it for today's live stream. But if you still want to hang out with me, we have another live stream, another episode of The Spiritual Journalist coming up at 1:11 this afternoon, a little later than we normally stream. I'm having my friend Ashley Linan join me. We're talking all about how to let your soul lead you in business. She is a spiritual business, personal development coach, all the things. She really just has the best energy, and that's why I invited her on, because anytime I do a course or a class with her, I just come out of it feeling like the baddest bitch. So very much Scorpio Moon vibes. So yeah, we're going to talk all about how to let your soul lead your business, as well as how to balance your masculine and feminine energies as an entrepreneur, or just when you're thinking about work. Sometimes we get so into that go, go, go work mode that we're all the way into our masculine and we forget to have that joy, that joyful presence of our feminine energy, infused into the work we're doing. So yes, join me on your lunch break. Awesome. And you will be back as well. So excited. You guys are going to love Ashley. And tomorrow we will continue today's transits. Let's see what is going on tomorrow that we'll be talking about. We have the moon moving into Sagittarius tomorrow, late tomorrow night. So the Scorpio moon will be with us for a while. And we'll be talking about a transit subtly playing out over the next few weeks. Venus is forming a trine to Uranus. So we'll talk about that as well. Lots of fun stuff coming up this week. Thanks so much for joining the conversation today. I love all of your feedback, and I can't wait to see you right back here tomorrow morning. But until then, stay curious. Thank you so much for joining us and aligning with the energy of the universe today. If you enjoyed this morning's episode of Transits Today, you can join our live astrology discussion every weekday morning right here wherever you're watching. And head to thespiritualjournalist.com to read your daily astrology forecast and browse the Spiritual Shop. The most fun way to help keep these forecasts free and support more content like this is to buy yourself a little something on our website. But if you're feeling extra generous, you can also buy me a coffee to fuel future live streams. Just tap the link in the description or head to buymeacoffee.com and search The Spiritual Journalist. And speaking of, you can also tune in to The Spiritual Journalist, our weekly live interview where we ask our guests questions about everything from crystals and manifestation to mental health and the environment. Those conversations stream live right here wherever you're watching now every Tuesday. I'm so grateful you found us here, and I can't wait for our next conversation.